This is Adam Watson.
And Robert Diaz.
You're listening to the Darkslinger Mafia podcast. So before we get into anything, just want to make an announcement. Darkslinger Comics is going to be at the I Like Comic Con coming up in Vancouver on February 10th and 11th. So if you're going to be at the con, make sure to look for our booth there. It should be pretty easy to spot. I'm going to have the full-size, 10-foot wide backdrop that has the big 4 vinyl banners on it.
Going with the old backdrop.
Yep, going with the old backdrop. Well, I have room for it at this con, you know.
Oh,
so,
nice.
And, the other backdrop I had been using, that's actually just a prototype. So that's not in, the fully complete stage yet. So I've only been using it at certain cons just to kind of get a feel for what I liked and didn't like about the way it looked and the setup. So I have a much better plan in place now for what that's going to be. So I'm going to be building the real version of it this year.
Nice.
Yeah. But yeah, that was only ever meant as a prototype backdrop. And it actually wasn't very much to do a prototype of it. I think I only sunk $60 into that in total.
Oh, that's not bad.
No.
How big it was.
Yeah. Yeah. And, I might use it occasionally still, just until the other one's made. But I'm going with the big one for this, with the 4 vinyl banners. And
go big or go home.
well, I'm not going home. I paid too much to be there.
Go big or sit there with no backdrop.
Yeah, but I'm thinking about doing a Kickstarter live broadcast one there from the con floor.
For your current Kickstarter going.
For my current Kickstarter going for Ghost Assassin, yeah.
How's that doing?
It's doing really well so far, I think. We're at $1,124 with 37 backers. And we're recording this on Sunday, so it's 5 days in.
Well, we do have Google right in our hands that can tell us to make sure you got it right.
Yeah, we do. Did I get it right?
Yeah, it looks like it. $1,124. 24 days to go.
24. It's actually more like 25, though, because of the way it counts down. It doesn't start counting down until hours until you have hit the last 2 days.
Well, I'm going to go with 24.
Okay, you go with 24.
It says 24.
And that makes it seem like it's even more urgent. So
it is urgent.
It is urgent.
It's always urgent.
But it seems even more urgent the more days are taken away there. So
How's your thunderclap? You get that fixed?
Yeah. Did I get it fixed? Are you implying I have VD?
Extreme case of it.
Extreme case. The thunderclap. The thunderclap is fully supported.
Fully supported, nice.
Fully supported, yeah. I actually have 2 more than the needed amount. So there's 102 right now. But if you're listening to this on the day this comes out, there is still time if you want to sign up, because it doesn't go out until Tuesday. So if you'd like to add your support and add a little bit more reach to it, go to thunderclap.it and type in Ghost Assassin in the search bar, and they'll bring it up.
And you used your birthday to promote that, didn't you?
I did, yeah.
How'd that go?
Yeah, I told you I was going to do that.
Yeah.
So let's see here.
That's why I didn't wish you a happy birthday.
I believe, smart idea. I posted a thing up prior to my birthday stating that I was going to be using my birthday to promote, and that I was going to be using it to promote the Thunderclap It, right? For the upcoming Kickstarter. So I think I got 37 to 40 reactions off that and quite a few comments. There were a lot of people who are commenting that they didn't expect any less from me. And there were a few people who just preemptively went ahead and signed up for the Thunderclap It then. But I was a man of my word, and I put a marketing message on absolutely every single birthday wish I got, unless it was a person who I'd recognized had already signed up for the Thunderclap It. I even put a marketing message on the post that my grandma did on my Facebook, which, that made me feel like I may not have a soul, but
Grandmas are supposed to support you.
Yeah, they are.
And give you pie.
That's true.
Or something like that.
My grandma does make really good pie. But anyway, I got, I believe, 20 of the supporters from pimping out my birthday.
Well, That's 20 more than you would have had if you didn't do it.
Right, exactly. So doing that got me 20 closer to the goal on Thunderclap It.
And this is the thing that explodes onto everyone's social media.
Mm-hmm. So what it does is I wrote out a post, and I wish I had had more characters to write something, because it's not easy to create a really good marketing message and the constraints of what a tweet has to be. But as this is something that goes on Twitter, Facebook, or Tumblr, they limit it to the amount of characters that will be involved in a tweet on Twitter, right?
Is that 240 or something like
I don't even think it's that many.
Yeah, they upped it.
Well, if they upped
like
it,
140.
the thing is, though, is that the link for the website counts as part of the characters.
Oh.
So I wrote the best message I could, and then what happens is all the people who sign up, as long as you get 100, which I did, it will activate it on Tuesday, and it'll send out en masse. And so everybody's Twitter, Facebook, or Tumblr, depending on what they signed up with, will have this marketing message for Ghost Assassin broadcast out on that day.
What's the date of that closing?
Tuesday, I believe I have it set up to send out at 10 a.m. in the morning, Pacific Standard Time.
So that's what? The 30th?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's correct.
Nice. Hopefully you get a good reaction to that. The Kickstarter got a good reaction at the start.
Yeah, I did, and it was a pain in the ass to get up.
It sounded like it.
So, over the course of the week prior to the Kickstarter, I wasn't really able to do any promotion because I was just working my ass off trying to make sure every page had the best lettering possible, the best graphic design possible. I'm going through, I'm revising things I've already done, double checking, doing all this stuff, setting up all the text that I need for the Kickstarter itself. And I'd been working on building the Kickstarter page for at least 3 weeks, right? But the night that I go to make sure everything's revised, put together correctly, all that, I go to upload the video and find out there was a problem with the video. Yep, so I couldn't use that video, right? So at 5 o'clock in the morning...
Oh, but you know what sucks for the people that didn't get to see the video?
What's that?
They didn't get to see your blue Yondu mohawk.
I know, but I did post a picture of that on Facebook, and Yondu has a red mohawk.
You know
He's got
what?
blue skin.
Shut up, you nerd.
So this 5 o'clock in the morning, I think, and remember that I want to post at 10. I had to figure out a way to create a whole new video. So I didn't think I'd have time to shoot something and edit it because it's just me. There's nobody else that's even going to be up at this time that can come over and hold the camera or anything like that. So I recorded a message the same way we'd record this podcast right now. And then I quickly edited it and took images that I'd already made up to be used in the Kickstarter, and then cropped a bunch of other images, put them over while I'm talking. And, I think I had that posted up at 6 in the morning. So there was the first, kink in getting the whole thing launched, right? So it's 9 o'clock, and I'm waiting to launch this thing. I'm going through doing a double check one last time, right? I'm on my phone. And all of a sudden, the little thing up in the top corner of my screen just starts spinning, which generally means I'm connected to Wi-Fi, but for some reason my Wi-Fi is not broadcasting, right? So I go and get in the laptop, and I'm going through and I'm checking. Shows that the Wi-Fi network's there, but it's not producing internet.
Oh, I hate that.
So I go and check my Wi-Fi hub. Everything seems fine with the Wi-Fi hub. So I'm like, okay, well, I'll disconnect my phone from the Wi-Fi. And I didn't want to launch from my phone because I figured if there was anything wrong with it while I'm doing my one last check off, I'd have a better time with the computer than the phone, right? But it's, dead. So I slam that on the charger, but I know it's going to be at least a few minutes before my phone's even back up, and then you got to do the enter in the passcode, all that, because I've let the phone die at this point. It's the way it works on iPhones. I don't know how it works on your phone.
That's pretty lame.
Yeah, it takes a bit of time for it to get all back up and running after you let it fully die.
If mine dies, all I do is plug it in and turn it on.
Well, the iPhone won't turn on until it has a certain amount of the internal battery charged.
This one, I've had it go dead, and then usually I can turn it on. But I've had phones in the past where, yeah, if it's been dead for a while, then you need it to pass a certain point before it'll turn on.
Yeah,
but
this hadn't been dead for all that long.
That's annoying if you have to put in all your passwords again.
Yeah, well, it's like the password to unlock the phone and all that.
But, yeah.
But standardly, when it's on, I have a charge. I just use my fingerprint, right? So I got to go in there and type all this and da-da, and it's got to wait to initialize. And so it's not as long as what I'm probably making it sound. But with 10 minutes to go to launching the Kickstarter, it seemed like it would take forever. So I plug that in. I go outside, and I'm like, okay, is there something wrong with the cord to my Wi-Fi from outside, you know? Like, what's going on? I look, and as soon as I step out, I see a bunch of construction workers out in front of my house. I have no idea what they're doing, but they're digging around in the road, and one of them is holding what looks like the underground Ethernet cables. So I'm like, I don't know what they did, but they knocked out the Wi-Fi, right? So I grabbed my laptop and I just booked it out the door. I was like, gotta make it to Audra's house, right?
Or Safeway.
Right? But I ran. Like, her house isn't too far away. It's 7 or 8 blocks, right? But I'm running down there with my laptop strapped to my back. And about halfway down there, I'm like, I'm out of breath. Severely. I'm out of shape. When did I quit working out? So I make it down there and I have like 2 minutes to spare, right? So I get this computer all hooked up to our Wi-Fi network, go through all those steps, go to click launch, and I've already got a message asking me if I'm still launching at 10. So I'm like, okay, I got at least one backer who's waiting for this, right? I go to click launch, and Kickstarter says, you can't launch. I'm like, what? It's gone through the pre-approval process. What's going on here? Yeah, I scroll down, and what it is it's stating that there is a problem with one of my incentive levels. Well, I put an early bird tier on there for the PDFs, and those have a specific start time and a specific end time. And apparently, my start time being 2 minutes before the current time wouldn't allow it to start. So I had to manually move that up by like 3 minutes, and then finally I was able to launch.
That's annoying.
It was. It was very stressful just getting it all launched.
Well, you did it.
Yeah, I did it.
How many minutes were you late by?
5 maybe. And there were only a few people who even knew I was planning on launching at that exact time. You know, I had spread it around as well as I could with the time limits I had that it was going to be launching on the 23rd, on Tuesday. But I think I only gave a few people a specific time because I only gave the people who asked what time I was launching.
I didn't even know what time it was.
Yeah.
I was probably still sleeping.
Yeah, probably. Well, I ended up crashing out at like 3 in the afternoon that day and waking up at like 4:30 in the afternoon after having been up for all that time to make sure it got up. So I was only able to sleep for like an hour and a half because I had to get up and see what the Kickstarter was doing.
Well, it did well in that amount by the time, because I came over and you already had, I don't know, $400.
I think I was at 5 when you came over.
Somewhere around there.
Yeah, I think it was 5. There was, I think by the end of the first day, I think it was at 700.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Somewhere around there, yeah.
It was doing real well.
Yeah.
Still is.
Yeah, it seems to be. And I've got some promotional opportunities coming up this week, so.
And no, I guess it's all this week, isn't it? Oh, this week and next week.
This week and next week, but yeah. But I'm just saying I have some promotional opportunities coming up in the next couple of days that'll hopefully help drive some backers too. So
I'm interested to see what's going to come of the Thunderclap.
yeah, I am too. It's hard to say because there are a number of the people that will be participating in Thunderclap who have already shared it via their social medias. So I don't know how much I can expect off it for that reason alone. But I'd imagine just like the sheer volume of them all happening all at once might drive some backers, because like if this person is friends with like these 6 people and they all participate in the Thunderclap and it shows up, it's going to show up higher in their feeds because 6 of their friends shared it simultaneously, because that's like the way the algorithm works. So if they see, oh, all 6 of these people shared it, maybe I should check out and see what this is, then it could definitely work like that. So,
well, you have 37 backers so far,
right,
and 100 people on the Thunderclap. So
102,
102, whatever. Then that's plenty of people.
Yeah. So there's a lot of hope there, but
and then however many people that they are friends with, I suppose.
Yeah. I'm trying Facebook targeted marketing ads right now. I don't know if I'm doing them right or not though.
Couldn't tell you.
So yeah, Facebook was nice enough to send me a $30 coupon right as my Kickstarter was beginning.
For like ad space, you mean?
It's okay. I know how Google Ad Space works to do that. I've got lots of coupons for that in the past, and I've actually used that to great effect. This isn't quite the same thing because it's like it doesn't actually tell you what the exact thing is you're paying for, right? You boost the post and you put how much money you want to put in to boost it, like what your budget for boosting this one post is, and how many days that amount covers, right? And then it just kind of charges you these amounts and tells you how many people saw it, but it doesn't explain to you how it's charging. Like, is it like a penny per every person who sees it? Is it, I don't know. And I like the way, I don't know if Google Ads still work this way, but back when I ran a bunch of them around like 2007, 2011, the way it worked is you got charged when somebody actually clicked on it. So
that's weird.
I know that with the Facebook ad I was running for the last 2 days, there were 330 people who saw it and only 2 people who clicked on it, right? It's like, the advertisement isn't that great of a thing to pay for if you can't even get somebody to click on it,
Yeah, people, like when you're on something and you're looking, you already know what you want.
Right.
You hate ads.
Mm-hmm.
I had the problem on a lot of websites that I just try to read news on.
Right.
That, because I run an ad block. Because I hate ads. And they all pop up and they're like, oh, hey, can you turn off your ad block or we're not going to let you use our website? I'm like, fuck you. I'm not going to use your website then.
Yeah, and Facebook ads don't work in that way because they're posts that you promote.
I'm just saying, I hate ads, so it's an easy thing to not pay attention to.
Yeah, it is. But, I'm hoping that I'll get some more engagement off of those. And
if it's disguised as more of a post sort of thing.
It is. It says sponsored up in the right-hand corner.
Yeah.
But if you're not paying attention, you're not looking at that. Especially if you see, because they always show you how many of your friends like this page, And I did notice that I had increased the amount of people who like the Darkslinger page over the last couple of days by 10 or 12 people. But I usually get 4 to 5 new likes on the Darkslinger page a week anyway. And it's really difficult to know if any of those are coming from the Facebook ads.
So by ad, it's a post you paid to get up there.
Yeah. Yeah, you're basically paying to get what they used to give you for free. Because when you used to create a fan page, if you posted something, all the people who had clicked like on your page would have a chance of seeing it, right? Now they show less than 1% of the people who have liked your page, the post. And so if you don't get those people interacting with it right from the get-go, it doesn't really get seen by very many people unless you boost it and then it gets seen. But there are ways around that. So, like, if I have a post on the Darkslinger page, I can share it with my main page, and then I increase the visibility of it by having my standard profile share, right? So, one of the posts that I did, I had shared it, Ben Kreger had shared it, and Elias had shared it. And it was seen by 368 people, right? And then the other one that I ran the boost on, I had shared, Ben had shared, and it had the boost on it, and it was only seen by 372 people.
So it's not really looking like it's really worth it.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to play with it a bit more. It may just be that I just haven't figured out how it works yet. But I'm currently, sampling it and trying it out. I have the $30 in credit to spend, so.
And you are already on the internet, and the internet can tell you how it works.
Yeah, exactly.
It's pretty smart.
Yeah.
And it's pretty dumb.
Well, I've watched lots of videos on how the Facebook ads work.
So it's kind of arbitrary.
It seems to be. It kind of seems like it charges you for a potential impression or something like that,
Maybe that's what it is at first, and then
or
if it
maybe
really
it's
gets
if
big,
the person
it's
stops on it for long enough and kind of looks at it for a minute, maybe that's what you get charged it for. I don't know. Because personally, I think if somebody's on Facebook and they're just rapidly scrolling through, and they didn't even stop on that long enough to register what it was, then you shouldn't get charged for that. And I know Facebook has the ability to see that kind of stuff.
They see everything.
Everything.
Watching us.
So, I'm definitely going to use up the full $30 in credit, but whether or not I pay for any more on Facebook will be contingent on if I get any backers from it or not, of course. I'm not just going to start wasting $5, $10.
Is that how much you paid for it?
I didn't pay anything for it because they gave me the credit.
There's still a cost to it, though. What is it?
What would be a cost if I didn't have the $30 credit?
Yes.
I think what would have been spent so far would be like $7.33.
And that got you this thing put up there for how long?
That was 3 days worth.
$7 for 3 days.
Right.
Of a thing that it's just like keeps moving up, like it doesn't move down on a
No,
big
it will
scroll
just
bar?
like appear on the person's feed.
Just randomly?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because sometimes I've been on Facebook and the sponsored thing doesn't even show up till you go 4 or 5 down in your feed.
Well, they don't want to put ads right at the top. People will be like, fuck you.
Right. Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, because everybody hates ads.
Yeah, so
saying that to someone who's
the
running an ad campaign.
The first ad that I ran was targeted just at people in the U.S., and it was to try and get them to buy the physical editions, right? The ad that I'm running now is for more international audience, and it's trying to sell the PDF at $2.
Looking at your Kickstarter when it launched, I liked your last tier thing that you went with because I hadn't actually known everything that you were going with at the time. And you're being drawn as a ghost. I never would have thought of that.
I had to run that one past Joel before I okayed it, so it wasn't something I wanted to mention on the podcast. So you remember when I said that I had an idea for another tier, but that I had to finalize it before I could talk about it? Well, that's what I was talking about, was you get to be drawn in as either a human or a ghost. As I had to make sure that Joel was okay with drawing real life people, I don't want to just assume that any of my artists are going to want to draw anything that, I want drawn, They do like drawing the things they like to draw too. So, So when I talked to him, he's like, yeah, that sounds like a great idea. So,
sounds better than being drawn as a human.
Well, yeah. But I figured that should be 2 separate tiers,
And maybe, just maybe, if someone wants to email you and pay $400, they can be both. They can be kill.
Oh, yeah. See, I had actually thought about that.
Secret hidden tier, if anyone wants to ship $400.
I guess Indiegogo lets you do secret tier somehow. But I don't know how it works. I haven't done an Indiegogo campaign yet, so I don't know. I just keep hearing people on podcasts talk about the secret Indiegogo tiers.
Weird. I Didn't know it was a thing.
I didn't either, but honestly, I've never backed an Indiegogo, and I've never
been on the
done
website.
a project there. I've been on it, but I wasn't very thrilled with the look of it at the time I was on there, so I didn't stay on there for very long.
It sounded,
but
I
should visit it because it's probably grown up a lot, just like Kickstarter has. So,
it sounded weird like that, and then the GoFundMe or these other random things that there are nowadays to give people money.
Yeah.
And they're not always for like a project. Some of them are for, this person needs a little bit of help.
Right.
Give them money.
There's a lot of people who do GoFundMes for that kind of things.
Yeah.
And then occasionally you'll see like the GoFundMes for comics or somebody trying to make an action figure or, something like that.
So that covers all your marketing for your Kickstarter.
Well, no, we only really talked about the Facebook ads.
Well, your Facebook.
The Thunderclap it.
It's all about that in the end, though.
Mm-hmm.
I guess you could be, in general, you're marketing yourself. But you're really going for the Kickstarter at the moment.
Uh-huh.
What else are you doing?
What else am I doing for marketing?
Yeah.
Okay. So, I am going to be releasing over the next 3 weeks 3 the paper figures that are going to be David, Todd, and Melissa. That's going to be advertising it. The Comic-Con that I announced at the beginning of the show, I'm going to be handing out stuff there. I have an order in for my postcards and trading cards that will have all the info for the Kickstarter on the back of them that should be ready to be picked up no later than Tuesday. Those are going to be sent out with any of the eBay orders that I get throughout the rest of this month, as well as handed out at the show that I'm doing. I'm more than likely going to be producing some physical editions of the Paper Dolls to give away at the shows as well. Let's see here. I'm trying to get as many reviewers as possible to review it, but that's a little bit tougher of a process for me in a way because I like to vet the people who are reviewing my stuff first. I don't want to just send it to just somebody who's just, going to write like, I liked it or I didn't like it and call themselves a reviewer.
You want a few more words.
Yeah, I want somebody who actually has some experience reviewing it, and when I read whatever they posted in the past, it reads very well. They're using correct grammar and everything spelled correctly. That's the type of reviews I'm looking for. I'm going to be on 3 podcasts for sure coming up this week, and I'm looking for other opportunities to be on more podcasts over the next couple of weeks. I'm marketing through Elbow Vine Marte. So
on that new page.
Yep, with the new page, which is the first. So the page I posted this week is the first in a 4-page series that's Lay Mime reviewing Ghost Assassin.
It was funny.
Thank you. So I had came up with this idea when I was reading a comic a while back. They had one of the characters give the backstory about what the comic was about, right? And I had this whole idea that Lay Mime would be the perfect character to do that. But I didn't know if I wanted him to talk about Elbow Vine Marte, right? So when the time came a bit closer to doing the Ghost Assassin Kickstarter, I had decided that I wanted Lay Mime to review Ghost Assassin, right? The only sort of contingency I'd worked up for myself was that he could in no way, shape, or form actually be interested in the comic itself. Because he's not featured anywhere in this comic.
So it doesn't interest him.
It doesn't interest him. So, you can see from the first panel on that page, the look on his face when he's looking at the comic. He just looks bored as shit. The second panel, the dialogue is, it's about a guy who has blue people following him around. So, Lay Mime is very disinterested, and I wish I could say that he gets more interested in Ghost Assassin throughout these 4 pages, but he doesn't.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. So after these 4 pages, then issue number 4 is finally going to be launching.
How long after? Like, you go
the next week
immediately after?
Yeah, so there's going to be one more sort of bonus EBM update between now and issue number 4. So I'll have the 4 pages to the Ghost Assassin story, And then one of my artists is working up a Valentine's Day image right now. So those 5 updates will be posted. And the Valentine's Day one is probably going to be a special update that's not released on that Wednesday, because that Wednesday is going to be reserved for the Ghost Assassin update. But I have those 5 updates, and then immediately after that is going to be mission number 4. So 5 pages for mission number 4 are complete, fully colored, lettered, whole 9. And Gabriel's hard at work, so chances are by the time I post the first page, the majority of the first issue should be done.
Nice.
Yeah.
He's doing a real good job.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm very, very pleased with it. I think his work's excellent. So, anyway, yeah, the Ghost Assassin pages for El Bovine Muerte, they got a pretty good response. So, I was pretty pleased with the response they had.
Is he's wearing that sweet leather jacket. Is that supposed to kind of be...
He's dressed as David.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, he's dressed as what you commonly think David looking like. So Le Mime is wearing blue jeans and a black leather jacket, and yeah, he's got the David look about him. And then Muerte and Bethany come walking up, and they're dressed as Todd and Melissa from Ghost Assassin.
That was a nice little touch.
Yeah.
I like that.
So when Le Mime sees them, he screams, "Blue people!"
Can't trust them.
Can't trust blue people. No, you should never trust blue people,
especially that Blue Man Group.
Right? Those are some scary guys.
Yeah.
So I'm scheduled for another podcast interview tomorrow.
Which podcast are you doing?
That is going to be the worst comics podcast ever.
Oh, that guy, that tiny little show?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Remember I talked to him back then about being on his podcast.
Yeah.
When the Kickstarter was going. And so I sent him a message and asked him if he's still interested, and he is. So I'm going to be on that one on Wednesday.
Nice.
And then Wednesday, I am going to be on the Nerd Nation podcast. So I don't know when those are going to air. I just know those are the days that we're recording. So
never heard of it.
Wednesday morning and Monday night that we're doing that.
Wednesday morning, Monday night.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Is that guy that we met, he just recorded at his house?
No. Well, I don't actually know where he records. I just know that he uses a program called Zoom to record. He told me that he'd send me an invite for it and it'd go through how to use it.
So it's like on the computer?
I believe so, either the computer or the phone. I don't know for a fact yet. I haven't downloaded whatever program it is yet.
So it's pretty much like probably going to be some sort of chat.
Something like that, thing. Yeah. I don't think it'll be video, but yeah.
Audio chat.
Audio chat, yeah.
That's handy, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it would be pretty cool. So.
Good way to do a remote podcast with someone.
Yeah. Better than the way we've been doing it, that's for sure.
We don't remote podcast. We do from here.
Oh, you haven't done any of the remote podcasts yet. That's right.
No.
So the way we do it is we put one phone on speaker and then put the other one on record next to it.
I don't know how that might be kind of how Kevin Smith does it, because the 2 that he's done in the last however many months with Scott Mosier has been on Skype, I think, because one's in France, one's in California.
Yeah, well, Skype, there's a way to actually record straight out of Skype. I just don't know how to do it. I tried to get your brother to help me out with all that, but
he's an idiot.
He gave up after a few minutes. So.
He usually does.
Yeah. So I learned on the last podcast that we were on together that Alex says, don't get me wrong. A lot, by the way.
Just don't get them wrong, man.
No, don't get me wrong.
You're just getting them wrong.
He said that a bunch of times in there.
He hates it when people get him wrong.
Yeah. So, anyway, there's a pretty good marketing strategy that I'm going to have for this.
Yeah, it's a pretty good schedule you got.
Yeah, I've been doing a ton of marketing so far. I thought I had pretty much everything lined up, but as the Kickstarter gets going, you figure out that, everything you would try to line up doesn't quite pan out the way you'd hoped it would, or...
Best laid plans.
Yeah, so you got to be able to pivot on your feet,
Best thing to pivot on.
I suppose so, Robert.
Well, what the hell else do you have going on?
Okay, so did you see the newest update for Ghost Assassin on Kickstarter? The one where I revealed the covers to the first 4 issues?
Yeah, I saw that in
Okay,
the email.
so the 4th one, the one that has not been colored yet, that's a brand new cover that Joel just got over to me like a week ago. So yeah, so anyway, Joel got that cover over to me about a week ago, I think. So that's a brand new image. And he is just about to start on a new Ghost Assassin story. And so I got that going on. As soon as this Kickstarter has ended, I really want to be ready to just move forward as fast as possible with it. I've got a pretty good lead up already because there are 3 issues that are at a high state of completion. If I can use my own personal money to fund the production, and then hopefully the Kickstarter will give me the money to do the finished printing. So I've got that going. In addition to Gabriel getting the pages done at a pretty rapid pace for issue number 4. Joel getting those pages done. Got a few other projects going, and I'm currently getting ready for my next Kickstarter as well.
So many things to be kicked.
I know, but this one's going to take a bit of time before it's ready to go. But I figure I might as well get started on what needs to be done to it now.
What's that one going to be for?
That is going to be for a hardcover collection of Chronicles von Helsing with all the pages featured in full color.
Full color will look good.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's asking to be full color.
I think so too.
Whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it'll look really, really good in full color. And so there are actually 3 Chronicles von Helsing Kickstarters I'm planning on doing in 2018. I don't know if I can talk about the other 2 quite yet, though.
Well, then I guess we'll leave those alone.
We will.
Lame.
But the Chronicles von Helsing hardcover I can talk about.
Then, you gonna try to have Tony color all his own pages?
I would like to, but, we're going to see how my coloring looks.
Is it?
And then kind of move forward from there.
Is that kind of a touchy area for some people, letting other people color their things?
Oh, some artists definitely. Yeah, some artists don't want people to color them or people to ink them, or there are some that don't even want other people to letter over their artwork.
I guess I can kind of see. The lettering sounds a little stupid, but the coloring kind of makes sense because you're going for a certain look.
Yes.
And the color can entirely change the look.
Right. And then there's been some artists I've worked with who have just stated that if I'm ever going to have this colored, that they want first shot at it, and if I don't like their coloring, then, we can go from there with finding a new colorist. There are definitely a lot of artists out there who want to color their own stuff, and then there are some people who only want to do the black and white work and never want to do the colors, right? Because coloring it is a totally different technique, and it may not be something they're versed in, right?
Yeah, I think I would be a little hesitant to work with someone that wouldn't be able to either try to color it themselves, if I might want that in the future, or if they wouldn't let someone else color. I would want the option to be there to color something and not have it by them if it doesn't look the way that you want it to.
Yeah, I don't mind bringing in colorists because sometimes somebody's so well versed at just coloring and not the line work, and then you'll have somebody else who's so versed at the line work but not coloring that it helps out. Or like one of the artists that I know can't tell the difference between green and red. He's that specific type of colorblind.
Oh, that'd be unfortunate.
It would be, and he didn't know it until he made a print for Christmas. And he made Santa's outfit green, right? And his whole life, he thought he knew what green was and what red was, right?
That's crazy.
This isn't an artist that worked for me. This is just one of my artist friends. But he went to do up this print, and everybody's like, "Oh, why'd you do Santa Claus's outfit in green?" He's like, "Oh, that's red." And they're like, "No, that's green." And so he found out that he couldn't tell the difference between red and green, so he started going through all of his old images that he had colored himself. Starts finding out that it's a different color he used than what he had thought on quite a few of the images.
Wow.
And so he actually is now working with a colorist to help him out with that. because, you know.
You don't really have much of a choice.
Right, exactly.
You just have to guess, is this red? Is this
Right.
one red yet?
Well, you could look up the hex numbers if you're coloring in Photoshop.
Oh, yeah.
But if you're coloring it by hand, you know, I could see it if you're like doing it really quickly or whatever, and you just don't pay attention to what the pencil or the paint or whatever you're using says, you know?
Or you make little things for your pencils
Mm-hmm.
to tell you which color they are.
Yeah, you could do that. But yeah, in any case, it's just all artists are different, and so
new idea.
What new idea?
You make a set of I don't know how fancy these people that make that color comics like their pencils, but you make a set specifically for people that are colorblind trying to do it.
Uh-huh.
And you have these little things on the pencils that tell them this is this specific color. People will buy that shit.
They probably would, but I'm not really in the manufacturing business.
Doesn't matter. It's a genius idea.
Well, why don't you do it then?
No, I don't want to. I don't want to make pencils.
Okay, fair enough. So anyway, I'm pretty excited to be releasing my first collected edition at some point this year. I don't have an exact date for when I'm going to be doing this Kickstarter, but I got to get the one that's currently going all done first before I move on to the next one. But
gotta stay focused.
There's absolutely no harm in getting the pages prepped and start getting them all ready, you know.
Always good to be ready. If you're not ready for your Kickstarter, then you can't launch it.
Right, exactly.
At least if you're smart.
So anyway, I want to do that as a hardcover edition.
That'd be pretty bitchin'.
Yeah.
What is the hardcover going to collect?
It's going to collect the first volume, which is issues number 1 through 5, and the Sally special. So issue number 1 is the issue that just features Tony Morgan on artwork. Issues number 2 through 5 are Tony on covers with Stefano on interiors. And the Sally special is the issue that Joel Kotajar of Ghost Assassin drew.
And he did that one full book.
Full book?
Yeah, the full little book.
Yeah, he did all the interior artwork for that, yeah. Yeah. It wasn't actually devised to be a mini comic. It was going to be a story, and still may be, but if I reproduce it in the hardcover, that makes that likelihood a lot less. But it was going to find its way into an anthology that I want to launch at some point, is what it was originally designed for. But I did this little con in Salem a few years back, and I was like, I need something new for my table, and I started looking through everything I had, and I was like, I could print this up as a mini comic, and that might be kind of cool, you know? Low price point item, be able to just stick it on the table for a couple bucks, and you know? And it's super well done. The artwork in it's amazing, and I already had the scratch board piece that Alan did of Mr. Muffkins, the teddy bear that Sally always carries around. So that worked well to put on the cover of the book.
What would the cover be?
Okay, so Tony, that's actually something I really need to talk to Tony about. Thank you for reminding me that, actually. But Tony had designed an image a long time ago, when we very first started Chronicles von Helsing, that was going to be the cover for issue number 1. But when I saw it, I loved it and was just immediately like, that's got to be the cover for the collected edition, right?
That long ago.
That long ago. And
yeah,
if you've ever seen me in real life, then you've actually seen a snippet of the cover. Because I have this vampire skeleton on my arm that has Robert and Ezekiel from Chronicles von Helsing fighting in front of it. And that skeleton is actually taken straight from that image that Tony did.
That's what you want to be the cover?
Yes.
For it?
Yeah, it's this skeleton and has these two like little locket-sized images on either side of the skeleton. And it's got a whole bunch of just really cool Tony aspects to it, you know. So I'll have to get in touch with him and talk to him about finishing up. That's going to be one of the aspects that has to be done before I can launch on Kickstarter. But as long as he still has that image, and hopefully he does.
Then, well, he might remember it or recreate it.
Well, that's possible too. It would suck though if he had to recreate that. As long as, you know, I can get that done, that's still what I have in mind to be the cover.
You know, that'd be pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you got an idea of what the color would be on it?
I don't. That's just something that is going to be totally up to Tony.
Strikes me as something that would, like, he has a lot of color,
Mm-hmm.
but it strikes me as something that might be black
Yeah,
in the background.
you know, when I look at it, I kind of think that too. But when it comes to placing color, I'm not going to tell Tony what to do. I'm just going to let him do it because
I wouldn't know.
he's going to lay his color better than I could ever imagine. So those 6 issues are going to be represented in the collected hardcover. And then after that's out, or hopefully maybe even around the same time, I want to launch the new #1 issue to that.
New #1, like the next set?
Yeah, so Chronicles was designed to be a series of volumes, right? And I don't know if I'm going to keep it as volumes like I'd originally intended, where each volume is going to be, like 5 to 6 issues. Or if when I do the new #1, if I'm just going to do it as an ongoing series and kind of have like volume 1 and volume 2, I'm not sure which way I'll go about that quite yet. I haven't decided. But that being said, it is written in a very story arc style fashion where like these 6 issues encompass this one storyline, So, volume #2 picks up where volume #1 left off, but it also tells a story in the past of the Von Helsings.
I like things that I can go to and just read the volume of it. You don't need a whole lot of other stuff. Like there's some elements that come in from the past and can lead into other things, but you just don't need to go back and read a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah, see, that doesn't bother me. I don't mind doing that.
I do, because then that's just another thing that I have to go find, and another thing that I have to read.
Oh, wait, do you mean like a epically long ongoing series? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, I just like being able to go and pick up a trade and read it.
Oh, okay. So having it be like more self-contained.
Yeah.
I try to keep my work like that as much as possible so that you don't have to pick up every single volume if you just stumble upon it through like volume 3 or issue number 30, that you'll be able to figure out enough of the story that if you want to work your way back, you can, but if you don't have to.
Yeah, you don't need everything. You'll get the gist of it as you go. Enough to enjoy the story.
Yeah. So this isn't really a relaunch though, because it's always what I had in mind to do with Chronicles Von Helsing.
It's just the continuation.
It's a continuation, yeah. But it is the second volume, so I will treat it like that with the #1. So I have figured out a way to recap the first story without making it seem like you're reading a recap, I don't know about you, but I kind of hate it when I'm reading a comic and the whole first 3 pages are dedicated to them like shoehorning in a way to recap what's came before. But I don't mind it if it's cleverly interlaced in the story itself, So that's what I'm doing, is putting it into the storyline itself without making it like a direct, so this is what you missed if you didn't pick up volume 1,
Previously on.
Previously on.
Don't write that in there.
No, I'm not going to. The only way I would ever do that is if it were a complete joke. I would consider doing that for El Bovine Muerte, but that's about it.
And then, for some reason, he would have to yell about that.
But if I were doing the previously on El Bovine Muerte, I think it would only be about stuff that had never actually happened.
It would be like, I don't know, I imagine if you did previously on with him, it'd be some sort of old school, real world thing. Him in a house with all the other characters.
Now, see, that's not a bad idea right there. I might use that in an upcoming issue.
They're all just pissed off at each other.
Well, they should be pissed off at each other, really and truly.
But they're mostly pissed off at him.
L.A. Mime.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the good thing about having El Bovine Muerte is one of my stories. It doesn't really matter if I want to tell the continuation of the story in this, or if I just want to screw around and, tell goofy stuff like I'm doing with what I'm currently doing,
He's the funny outlet.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm very excited to be returning to the main storyline, but at the same time, I also want to do more of these television commercial type episodes, like I did with the pro smoking commercial and what I'm currently doing with the Ghost Assassin commercial.
He's just one big commercial for everything else.
Well, I could do that pretty easily, actually.
In the end, you're putting out more Play Mom than anything.
Well, I actually have released more pages from El Bovine Muerte than anything else.
Exactly.
Because, yeah, it's only 3 pages plus the specials and the pinups that I've released for that. But each of the issues clock in at around 20 pages, right? So, maybe I have released more Chronicles of Von Helsing. But
I think it's pretty close.
it's probably pretty close, yeah.
So that show that you got, what, this weekend? No, next weekend?
Next weekend.
Next weekend? The 10th, is it?
10th and 11th of February.
Yeah. Where was that at?
I think it might actually be in Ridgefield. It states Vancouver, I'm pretty sure. So I haven't looked at the exact address yet.
I couldn't tell you the difference between the two.
Yeah, Ridgefield has a fairgrounds and is a little bit farther out than Vancouver.
What kind of con is it?
It is stating that it's going to be very much a Comic Con. They do have a few celebrity special guests. The guests for comics are far more impressive than what they have for celebrities for mainstream TV celebrities. That's for sure. The celebrities that were for the movies and TV shows didn't do a thing for me, but maybe they will for other people.
Probably drawing a crowd.
But I thought the comic guests were pretty cool.
Who do they have?
Jim Steranko, Howard Chaykin are the big 2 that they're really advertising that they'll have. And I think it's been quite a few years since Jim Steranko was in the Pacific Northwest. So that ought to be a pretty good crowd of people who like comics. And Howard Chaykin. Howard Chaykin was really controversial this last year, so who knows? Maybe a lot of people will come. He did this comic that was called like The Divided States of Hysteria. I would tell you what the controversy was, but I never read it and never read anything about the controversy, so I actually don't know. I just know it's controversial for some reason. But he's also got a TV show coming out pretty soon based off one of his properties, American Flag. That I've read, and that I can tell you is actually a really good comic.
Don't know it, never heard of it.
It's from the 80s, and if you read it, you kind of have to bear that in mind. Because it is done through the lens of, like the way
80s.
people saw things in the 80s. Like the guy's outfit, he wears these super tall white like motorcycle boots and all this, But
it was a crazy time.
It's about this guy who was a police officer in a TV show and then becomes a police officer for real and gets sent to like this plexiglass city where people live, where TV shows are broadcasted all the time and things like that. When people talk to me about Tokyo Ghost, I always try to get them to go check out American Flag because that's what I think Tokyo Ghost was inspired by, or at least seems to be. Because the whole part with like, have you read Tokyo Ghost yet?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, Tokyo Ghost is all about being addicted to technology and stuff like that, right? American Flag kind of had those elements going with TV instead of internet, but the TV in American Flag was closer to what we expect from like streaming services, It just wasn't fully formed yet as like a streaming internet service, but everybody's very addicted to like the television and things of that nature in this world. It's a very interesting comic. I haven't read the whole thing yet, but what I've read out of it, I like a lot.
Nice. Trying to get back to the roots then. Slinging comics.
Yep. Well, we did 14 shows last year, but we didn't do any that were just Darkslinger specific. So this is the first one I'm doing this year that's Darkslinger specific. It's a first year show, so it's tough to say how it's going to be, but we'll update everybody on how it went.
Hopefully it's a good start to this year's show.
I hope so. Yeah, this is the first one I'm doing in 2018. And so, hopefully it goes really well.
Setting the bar.
Yeah. But there's only going to be one way to know, and that's to go do it, right?
That's for everyone else to come and buy all your stuff.
Right. Yeah. So hopefully everything's done right and, they get people through the doors because that's half of it right there is just hoping that the con promoters got people through the doors. There are a lot of people who go on about how you can have a good show at any show. Well, I've been at shows before where less than 5 people showed up. So that's not always true. Some of it is very contingent.
Shows that's less than 5 people as vendors.
But that show actually we earned a lot of money at. But years and years and years ago, I did a show in Tacoma that had about 25 to 30 people set up at it, right? But I'm not kidding you. There were only 5 people that came through the door to shop.
Wow.
Yeah, and another two that came there to play Magic the Gathering in the corner.
I hate that. I probably would have went to sleep.
That show still had some fun elements to it because no matter where you were in the room, you could talk to the other vendors no matter where they were at. So, like, if they were at the very back and you were in the very front, you could still talk to each other. There's no noise in there, so and good acoustics, so you could hear each other.
Just whispering across the hall.
Right. And I made quite a bit of money at that show just selling to the other vendors, right? But I still wouldn't consider it a good show because I didn't have an opportunity to sell Darkslinger stuff at that show, right? And that one was clear back in like 2006 or 7 when this was all still very new to me. But sometimes you can't control whether or not a show is going to be good for you unless the organizers have done what they're supposed to do.
A lot of it is in their hands.
I've seen a lot of advertisement being put out for it. And, it seems like a number of the shop keepers around here are giving out flyers and things like that. But I'm still talking to quite a few comic fans that don't seem to know the show's happening. So I don't know how much word of mouth is really getting around about it.
Mm-hmm.
But you never know because, how many shows have we done that we thought no one was going to show up to and then we've ended up being busy all day.
Yeah.
So I'm really just hopeful that, a lot of people show up. But I think there will be, even though there's been a few people I've talked to personally who don't seem to know about it. There's a lot of people on Facebook that have been talking about it. So I think it'll be a pretty good crowd.
Cool. It's so boring when
and
it's
I'm
not
looking
busy.
forward to getting the convention year started again. So
Getting itchy to get out of the house.
Yep, I am. But yeah, it can be very boring when things aren't going on. But I figured I would just set up the Kickstarter live to be done during an hour that I figure it'll be less busy. So,
Good timing.
Yeah. Be able to do something with that, and then I won't get so bored, right?
Yeah.
Because I'll be able to talk to my crowd on Kickstarter. And that feels like it's probably a good place to stop right there. So please consider checking out the Ghost Assassin Kickstarter. It's really easy to get to. All you have to do is type in www.ghostassassin.net. One more time, that's www.ghostassassin.net. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, Google+, and YouTube. We have Facebook pages for Ghost Assassin, Chronicles Von Helsing, Darkslinger Comics, and Elbow Vine Muerte. Until next week, I'm Adam Watson.
I'm Robert Diaz.
Thank you for listening.